Are you ready?
Good Sunday morning, and thanks for joining us on The Huddle, brought to you by 956sports.com, powered by our friends at McDonald's and here on Fox 2. It's week 0 of Valley High School football, and we're going to break down what's happened in the past week, plus take a look at what's coming up this week. My name's Tony Fortina, thanking you for making this part of your day. And of course, I've got to introduce my partners in crime, Dr. Greg Selber from the University of Texas Pan American, an accomplished author. Doc, how are you?
I'm well.
Fantastic. Eugenio Gene Garza, he is the former coach of the La Villa Cardinals, now stepping down to join us behind the desk. Coach, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. It's football season, so
I'm
excited about that.
It is a beautiful time of the year. And Coach, thanks for reading the memo that we sent out.
No problem.
If you missed out on any of the action from Thursday or Friday night, we're going to recap that, plus take a look at what's coming up on next Friday, next week's game, shall we say. But let's start with Sherryland and Hanna. It was a game of debut coaches, kind of, sort of. Ron Adame, who was an assistant for the Sherryland Rattlers under Fred Sanchez for the last 17 years, traveled to Sam Stadium to take on the Brownsville Hanna Eagles with their new coach, Rene Medrano, who just happened to walk across the street from Brownsville Pace. Sherryland came out with their first victory, 41-7. Another debut was PSJA Southwest. The Javelinas, or the Hogs as they like to be referred to, took on Brownsville Pace. And actually, their first season in varsity football, not a bad start with the Javelinas picking up a 35-12 victory over the Vikings. Coach, does this surprise you?
You know what? It does, because it's a bunch of juniors there in that group. And you know what? 4A, be ready, because PSJA Southwest is coming.
All right. PSJA Southwest, congratulations to the Javelinas. Laredo United South traveled down Expressway 83 to take on the Mac High Bulldogs. Dr. Greg Selber was there for the Bulldogs' 38-17 victory. What happened at this game, Doc?
You know, Mac Allen was a little slow out of the gate. They had a little jitter problem. They're playing a lot of sophomores at the skill position, but those kids are going to be really good. Ricky Rodriguez is a good running back with good feet and vision. Fred Hover is a quarterback. You can read all about him on the website. There's another kid, his name is Rincones, Matthew, a linebacker. He is an animal, man. They gradually came on and overwhelmed South, knocked their quarterback out. He had some cramps. I think it was a good effort by Mac High. A good mix of seniors and sophomores on that team. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
And a customary start for the Mac High Bulldogs, who tend to start off slow but build their way up throughout the season.
Yeah, I think so. A microcosm indeed.
The PSA North Raiders traveled to the reservation to take on the Donna Redskins, and Donna was a very rude host, coming up with a 42-21 victory over the Raiders. Quite surprising. It seems as if the Raiders may be missing Austin Navarro. We each thought it was going to be a tighter ball game than what it turned out to be.
You know, you look at PSJA North, right? They've been tough all this time, and Donna's been tough, but I thought there was going to be a closer game than it really was.
Well, we'll keep our eyes open for the Raiders and see if their season will continue to progress. Weslaco East played host to Eagle Pass, and the Wildcats have not skipped a beat. Even though they jumped from 4A to 5A, they rolled with a 31-6 victory over Eagle Pass. Now, another surprising game that we saw this past week was at J. Louis Bogus Stadium in Harlingen, in which San Antonio Johnson, a team that a lot of people upstate consider to be mediocre at best, took on the Valley's best in the Harlingen Cardinals and really laid the thunder to the Cardinals with a 36-0 victory.
Well, not only did it put a stop to that regular season winning streak at 31, they don't get to challenge Ed Couch. It was a definite downer for Harlingen, and I think for most people around the Valley, because Route 4 against the Cardinals, it's also the Valley against San Antonio. So this is just not their greatest way to start out. Now, with that said, don't worry, because the week of work in Harlingen is going to be of epic proportions, and they will be ready to destroy this weekend.
Well, we'll see, because they've got another Battle de Arroyo coming up this coming weekend. I don't know if that's a good thing for San Benito with a 16-7 victory over Los Fresnos. They're feeling pretty good about themselves, and see how Harlingen was just demolished at the hands of Johnson.
The last time that Harlingen was shut out was against the Greyhounds back in 2006. This is going to be one of the best games in recent memory, and you just got to get out there and see it. Get your tickets early.
All right. It's how Coach Gomez says you got to believe or leave, and that train station might be filling up for the Cardinals. But we'll see how it goes. Rio Hondo played Santa Rosa and came out with a big 27-13 victory. And the Hidalgo Pirates, with which the series on 956sports.com, in which we take you inside their locker room. Great job by our man Carlos Robledo. He has got Shea Patterson knocking in 5 first-half touchdowns, 3 passing, 2 running in a victory over the Raymondville Bearcats. But the Bearcats made it a game in the second half. Hidalgo pulls out a 35-32 victory.
Patterson is a freshman. Patterson is a freshman. Patterson is a freshman. I keep repeating that to myself. That dude's going to be something. He's tough. Him and the guy from Lyford, Scott Arnold. Keep an eye on those 2 young quarterbacks because they both have big numbers so far. The only thing bothers me about Hidalgo, I say bother, they got to finish, right? I mean, they got shut out in the second half, but hey, it's the first week, man. Just like Harlingen, just like all these teams, right, Coach? They're going to watch the film, get back to work, and get a week better day by day based on what they did that first game.
Exactly. I mean, you lose a game, no big deal. All right, the season isn't over.
Right.
Let's get after it.
But we'll discuss a little bit more on the post-week mentality of the coaches as we get further into that. But again, we remind you to log on to 956sports.com, 956sports.com. If you missed any of the action, we've got plenty of highlight packages available for you there at 956sports.com. And gentlemen, any surprises, any disappointments over the past week that might lead some coaches to worry?
Well, I had La Feria and San Diego. I wasn't expecting La Feria to lose to San Diego, right? They're a small town, 2A, Los Vaqueros. That was surprising on my part, right? But again, the season's not over. La Feria, get after it. You know, district hasn't started yet.
And especially, I guess, when you're in those lower level districts that you have a lot of these non-district games, the non-district schedule becomes a season in itself with a beginning, a middle, and an end. So, yeah, you don't want to lose any game, but now you just go back to the drawing board and say, okay, what did we not do?
So what you're telling me is it's better to be one of those smaller schools with a slightly longer non-district schedule so you can get your beginning in, and then not compared to one of the bigger schools that had last week, this week,
Right.
and then it's straight into district.
Especially if you're struggling or you have a lot of new pieces, because you got lots of different weeks to see where the pieces fit. If you're doing good, then you don't mind playing that third game as a district.